Men over 50, let me ask you something simple but important. What if there was one spot on your body, one small, overlooked area that could send a warm rush of fresh blood down to your most intimate parts? What if treating that spot the right way could restore sensitivity, bring back natural responsiveness, and help you wake up feeling more like the man you were 15 or even 20 years ago? And no, it is not on the shaft. It is not a muscle you train at the gym. In fact, most men never even think about it. Yet, after more than a decade as a urologist, I have watched this one simple routine, done with nothing more than a natural oil you can buy anywhere, create real noticeable changes in my patients' confidence, circulation, and performance. Today, I want to take you inside this method step by step. I will show you exactly where that spot is, why it is so powerful for male physiology, and how to use castor oil to strengthen erections naturally, without pills, without pumps, and without anything complicated. And I promise you, the details matter. Once you understand what this area controls and how the tissues respond when treated the right way, the whole process suddenly makes perfect sense. That is why I need you to stay with me as we break this down, because by the end of this video, you will understand why castor oil is not just an old remedy. It is a tool that can support blood flow, nerve sensitivity, pelvic function, and hormonal balance. You will also know exactly how to apply it, how long to massage the area, how often to repeat the routine, and what kinds of changes men report after a few days and after a few weeks. So, take a breath, get comfortable, and let us walk through this slowly and clearly, because this information can make a meaningful difference for many men who think their best days are behind them. Before we talk about the exact spot and the method, we need to understand what is actually happening inside a man's body after age 50. Because an erection is not just a simple reaction, and it is definitely not just about arousal. It is one of the most complex processes your body produces. It requires perfect timing between your brain, your hormones, your nerves, and your blood vessels. When even one part slows down, the entire system starts to feel weaker, slower, or less reliable. And this happens gradually, so gradually that most men do not notice it until the changes become impossible to ignore. Over the years, the blood vessels that supply your erectile tissue begin to lose some of their flexibility. They do not open as easily. They do not expand as wide. They do not deliver that strong rush of blood you used to rely on. And even when the blood gets there, your ability to keep it trapped inside the erectile chambers can weaken. At the same time, testosterone, your body's engine for desire, energy, and tissue health, starts to decline little by little. That shift alone can influence mood, drive, stamina, and the quality of your erections. But there is another part men rarely think about. The nerve endings, those tiny sensitive nerves that used to fire instantly, can become less responsive. The same touch that once lit up your brain now feels muted or delayed. And then there is the pelvic floor, the deep muscles that act like a natural clamp, helping you stay harder for longer. With age, these muscles weaken too, making erections fade sooner than you want them to. This is a moment when many men start losing hope. They think, well, I guess this is just aging. Nothing I can do. But that is not true, not even close. After working with thousands of men, I can tell you this. Your body still has remarkable capacity to recover, even past 50. When you target the right structures, your blood vessels, your nerves, your pelvic muscles, you can restore vitality in a way that feels like you are turning back the clock. And this is exactly where castor oil becomes such a surprisingly powerful tool that most men have never even considered. Now, let us talk about castor oil, because this is not just some random household oil. It has a very unique chemistry that makes it incredibly useful for men's health. When you apply it the right way, the key ingredient is something called renonolic acid. This natural compound gives castor oil its strong anti-inflammatory, circulation-boosting, tissue-soothing properties. It is the reason castor oil has been used for hundreds of years. In traditional medicine across cultures, People applied it to sore joints, tight muscles, sluggish organs, and injured skin because it does not just sit on top of the surface. It actually penetrates deep into the tissues. That deep acting ability is what makes castor oil so interesting for male sexual function. As we age, inflammation builds up, tissues stiffen, nerves become less sharp, and circulation slows down. Castor oil helps counter some of those changes. It calms down hidden irritation inside the pelvic region. It relaxes tight muscles that may be restricting blood flow. It supports better circulation by helping vessels open more easily. And it encourages the lymphatic system, your body's internal cleaning crew, to move more efficiently, clearing away metabolic waste that can slow recovery and tissue health. When you apply castor oil to key areas that influence erections, you are not just moisturizing the skin. You are delivering a compound that reaches into deeper layers, where the nerves, the vessels, and the pelvic muscles live. That is why so many men describe a warm, soothing, almost melting sensation after using it. They often say it feels like something inside the pelvic floor is finally loosening, like a tension they did not even know they were holding is slowly releasing. For sexual health specifically, the real power of castor oil lies in how it affects the tissues involved in arousal and erection. It helps the blood move more freely. It nourishes delicate nerve endings that may have gone quiet with age, and it softens areas that have become tight or restricted over time. When you combine these effects with the correct application spot, the one I am about to reveal, it creates a gentle, steady improvement that feels natural, not forced. It is not a pill. It is not a sudden jolt. It is your own body remembering how to function the way it is supposed to. When we focus specifically on male performance, the real magic of castor oil comes from how deeply it sinks into the tissues that matter most. This is not an oil that just coats the skin. It moves through the layers and reaches the muscles, blood vessels, and nerve pathways that directly influence erections. As it penetrates, it encourages tight or overworked muscles in the pelvic floor to soften and release. That alone can make a huge difference because, when those muscles stay tense, they can restrict blood flow and reduce your ability to stay firm. Castor oil also helps your blood vessels relax and open wider. That means fresher oxygen-rich blood can reach the erectile tissues more easily. A lot of men do not realize just how important this is. Erections depend on pressure, on filling the chambers with enough blood and keeping it there. When the vessels are stiff or constricted, that pressure never fully builds. By supporting better circulation in this deep region, castor oil helps restore the openness and responsiveness those vessels need. But one of the most surprising effects happens in the nerves. Many men experience a slow loss of sensitivity as they age. The signals that once fired instantly from touch, from arousal, from the mind-body connection, become slower or weaker. Castor oil nurtures these nerve endings. It helps them wake up again, so the sensations feel sharper, more alive, more connected. Some men describe it as a gentle awakening. Others say it feels like a quiet switch that turns back on after years of running at half power. And when you bring all of this together, muscles relaxing, vessels opening, nerves reactivating, you create the perfect environment for stronger, more dependable erections. Not in an artificial sudden way, but in a natural progression, like your body remembering what it is capable of. Many men tell me they feel a subtle warmth or fullness in the pelvic area. Some notice a tingling sensation they have not felt in years. These are not extreme sensations. They are quiet signs that the tissues are responding. And when this deep-acting oil is paired with the specific spot I am about to reveal, the area that controls nerve signals, blood flow, and the muscles that hold an erection, the effects become even more powerful. This is where everything comes together and where most men finally understand why this simple method works so well. So let us finally talk about the spot itself, the place most men never even think about. Yet it controls some of the most important functions involved in getting and maintaining an erection. It is not on the shaft, and it is not on the testicles. The secret spot is the perineum, that soft, slightly muscular area between the scrotum and the anus. It might seem like nothing more than a simple patch of skin, but beneath that surface lies one of the most important control hubs for male sexual performance. Right under this area sits the bulb spongiosus muscle, a powerful structure that works almost like a natural clamp. When it is strong and responsive, it helps trap blood inside the penis so you stay firm. When it is tight, weak, or underactive, blood escapes quickly, and erections fade sooner than you want them to. This muscle alone plays a huge role, and most men never give it a moment of attention. Running through the same region are branches of the pudendal nerve, the nerve responsible for carrying signals of arousal, pleasure, and sensitivity between the genitals and the brain. As men age, these nerve pathways can become sluggish, meaning the sensations you used to feel instantly now require more stimulation or do not register as strongly. Stimulating this area with castor oil helps nourish and reawaken those nerves, making them more responsive again. And we cannot forget the pudendal artery, which supplies fresh oxygenic blood directly to the erectile tissues. Blood flow is the foundation of every strong erection, and this artery passes right through the perineal region. When castor oil is massaged into the spot, its deep penetrating circulation-supporting properties reach the vessels that matter most, helping them open more easily and deliver a stronger rush of blood when you need it. This combination, muscle, nerve, and artery, all concentrated in one small area, is what makes the perineum such a powerful target. When you apply castor oil here, you are not just treating the surface. You are directly influencing the structures that control firmness, sensitivity, and performance. Many men describe the effect as almost surprising because such a small area can influence so much. And once you understand what is happening underneath, the results make perfect sense. Now that you know why this spot is so important, let me show you exactly how to apply the oil correctly so you get the full benefit of this technique safely and effectively. Now let us walk through exactly how to use castor oil on this area so you can get the maximum benefit. The first step is simple but important. Make sure the perineum is clean and completely dry. Any moisture, soap residue, or sweat can prevent the oil from absorbing deeply, and deep absorption is what makes this method so effective. Once the area is ready, take about a teaspoon of pure cold-pressed castor oil. I want to emphasize cold-pressed because it keeps the natural compounds intact, the very compounds that help your muscles relax, your vessels open, and your nerves wake up. Before applying it, warm the oil slightly. You do not need to make it hot, just warm enough to feel pleasant and soothing on your skin. You can do this by rubbing it slowly between your palms for 10 to 15 seconds, or by placing the teaspoon in a small bowl of warm water for a minute. Warmth helps the oil spread more easily and encourages the tissues underneath to soften and open. Once the oil is ready, settle into a comfortable position where you can reach the perineum without straining. Many men prefer sitting back in a reclined position, lying on their side, or elevating one leg slightly. Whatever makes it easy for you to relax is fine. Then begin massaging the oil into the perineum using slow, steady, gentle, but firm movements. The goal is not to poke or press hard, but to press deep enough that you feel the underlying muscle without causing discomfort. Think of it as coaxing the tissue, inviting it to release tension and accept nourishment. Use small circular motions or slow upward strokes, covering the entire space between the scrotum and the anus. Take your time. Spend at least 2 to 3 minutes on the area, longer if you can. This is not something to rush. The slower and more mindful the touch, the more the pelvic floor muscles respond. Many men find that syncing the massage with their breathing, slow inhale, slow exhale, helps the body let go of tightness it did not even realize it was holding. For an extra boost, place a warm compress or a folded towel soaked in warm water over the area once you finish massaging. Leave it there for about 10 to 15 minutes, The combination of warmth plus castor oil enhances penetration into the deeper tissues and promotes an even stronger increase in circulation. You may feel a gentle spreading warmth through your pelvic region. That is a good sign. That warmth means blood flow is increasing and the tissues are responding. I recommend doing this routine in the evening. Your body naturally begins to unwind at the end of the day, and keeping the area relaxed overnight allows the oil to continue absorbing without interruption. Over time, this quiet bedtime ritual becomes something deeply calming, something that supports not just your intimate health, but your overall sense of ease and well-being. When you start doing this consistently, the first changes you notice are usually subtle but meaningful. Many men describe a gentle warmth in the pelvic area after a few days. Others feel a slight tingling or a sense of aliveness that was not there before. These early sensations are your body's way of telling you that circulation is improving. Nerves are waking up and the pelvic floor is beginning to relax. Nothing dramatic or sudden, just small signs that the tissues are responding exactly the way they should. As the days turn into weeks, those subtle hints start to build. Most men begin to see clear improvement somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks. Morning erections may feel firmer. The ability to stay hard during intimacy becomes more reliable. Sensitivity feels sharper, more connected, almost like the signals from the body reach the brain faster and more clearly. For some men, it is the first time in years they have noticed this kind of natural responsiveness, and that alone can be a major confidence boost. One of the biggest advantages of this technique is that it works gradually in a physiological way, not like a pill that forces your body into a temporary state. Instead, you are retraining your tissues, rebuilding the natural pathways that support healthy erections, and giving your body the conditions it needs to perform on its own. That is why the improvements tend to feel so natural. They do not feel artificial or overstimulated. They feel like a return to the way things used to work. There are also unexpected benefits many men report along the way. Some notice their pelvic floor feels more relaxed during the day, like a pressure they did not even know they were carrying has lifted. Others say their lower back feels less stiff or tense because those muscle groups are closely connected. And quite a few men mention improved urinary control. They are able to hold their bladder more easily, and nighttime bathroom trips become less frequent. That is not a coincidence. The same nerves and muscles involved in erections also play a major role in bladder function. Every man responds at his own pace, and that is perfectly normal. Some feel early effects quickly, while others notice change more slowly and steadily. What matters most is consistency. This is a routine built on gentle, repeated restoration, not force. When you give your body time to adapt, the results often go beyond what you originally hoped for. To get the very best results from this routine, you need to support your body from the inside as well. Castor oil can do a lot for circulation, nerves, and pelvic tension. But your daily habits determine how well your system responds. One of the simplest foundations is hydration. When your body is well hydrated, your blood flows more freely, your tissues stay plump and responsive, and your circulation works the way it is supposed to. Most men do not realize how much dehydration affects their erections. Thicker blood, slower flow, lower energy. So make it a point to sip water throughout the day instead of drinking it all at once. Next, focus on foods that naturally boost nitric oxide, the molecule your blood vessels use to open wide and send blood exactly where it needs to go. Dark leafy greens, spinach, arugula, and especially beets are powerful nitric oxide boosters. These foods help your arteries stay flexible and responsive, something that becomes more important with every decade of life. If you pair this with foods rich in healthy fats like salmon, walnuts, and extra virgin olive oil, you give your body the raw building blocks it needs for hormone production and vascular health. Testosterone and blood vessel function depend heavily on the fats you consume. Strengthening the pelvic floor is another key factor. When done correctly, Key exercises help rebuild the muscles that trap blood inside the penis and keep you harder for longer. But the key word is correctly. Overdoing Kegels or tightening the wrong muscles can actually make things worse by increasing tension. The goal is balance, strength with relaxation. Just a few minutes a day of slow, controlled contractions can make a noticeable difference over time, especially when combined with castor oil massage. And we cannot ignore stress. Many men underestimate how much stress affects their sexual health. When your mind is tense, your body releases hormones that constrict blood vessels and shut down the pathways responsible for arousal. That is why building even small moments of calm into your daily routine can dramatically improve your performance. Whether it is a slow evening walk, stretching before bed, breathing exercises, or simply sitting quietly without screens, these moments help your body shift out of stress mode and back into a state where intimacy feels natural. When you combine castor oil therapy with good hydration, nitric oxide-rich foods, healthy fats, pelvic floor support, and daily relaxation, you create the ideal internal environment for real, lasting change. These habits do not just boost the effectiveness of the technique, they help rebuild the foundation of your sexual health, one day at a time. While castor oil is generally very safe for external use, there are a few important guidelines to follow to make sure this routine works smoothly and does not cause irritation. The first is choosing the right oil. Always go for a pure cold-pressed castor oil, preferably organic. Cold-pressed oils keep all the natural compounds intact, and that is exactly what you want absorbing into the tissues. Avoid products with added fragrances, preservatives, blended oils, because those can irritate the sensitive skin of the perineum. You should also avoid applying castor oil to broken, inflamed, or irritated skin. If you have a rash, an open cut, hemorrhoids, or any kind of soreness in that area, let it heal before starting this routine. Castor oil penetrates deeply, which is great for healthy tissue, but can cause discomfort if the skin is compromised. And remember, more is not better. A teaspoon is enough. Over-applying oil will not speed anything up. The tissues can only absorb so much at one time. Pay attention to your body while doing this routine. If you ever feel sharp pain, burning, or anything that feels off, stop and reassess. Castor oil should not hurt. The message should not hurt. And the warmth you feel afterwards should be gentle, not uncomfortable. If you experience persistent pelvic pain, sudden changes in erectile strength, or new urinary symptoms, it is important to speak with a doctor. Those signs can indicate underlying conditions like circulatory issues, nerve problems, or prostate changes that need medical evaluation. If you are taking medications for blood pressure, heart disease, or circulation, it is always a good idea to let your doctor know before adding any new health routine, even a natural one. Castor oil itself does not interfere with medications, but improving circulation in the pelvic region can interact with your overall vascular health. A quick conversation with your physician ensures everything you are doing works with your current treatment, not against it. For most men, this routine is safe, gentle, and highly supportive, but safety always comes first, especially when dealing with a sensitive and important area of the body. Think of this as part of your long-term wellness, not just a quick fix. When you approach it thoughtfully, consistently, and with awareness, you give your body the best possible chance to respond, heal, and regain strength naturally. As we wrap this up, I want you to remember something that too many men forget after turning 50. Your body is still capable of incredible adaptation, healing, and renewal. The changes you have noticed, lower circulation, weaker erections, reduced sensitivity, are not a sign that your best years are behind you. They are simply signals that your body needs better support, more targeted stimulation, and a little help reconnecting the pathways that once worked effortlessly. And the good news is, those pathways can come back online far more easily than most men realize. This simple castor oil technique is not a miracle cure. It is not a pill. It is not a quick artificial boost. What it does is something more meaningful. It helps restore the natural mechanisms your body relies on for strong, dependable erections. By supporting circulation, calming pelvic tension, reawakening nerve activity, and nourishing the tissues that matter most, you are giving your body exactly the environment it needs to remember its own strength. And when you pair this routine with healthy daily habits, hydration, good nutrition, pelvic floor balance, and moments of calm, the improvements can feel transformative. Many men who try this are surprised by how natural the changes feel. More warmth, better responsiveness, a stronger sense of connection between mind and body, firmer morning erections, more confidence during intimacy. These are not forced reactions. They are signs your body is rebalancing itself slowly and steadily. Signs that the systems responsible for arousal and performance are waking back up. So do not rush the process. Trust it. Stay consistent. Let your body adapt at its own pace. With a few minutes each night, you are investing in your long-term vitality, not just a temporary fix. And if you find this information helpful, do not keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might benefit. You never know how much a simple piece of knowledge can change another man's life. I am Dr. Mika Hayashi, and I am wishing you strength, health, and confidence at every stage of life. Take care of yourself. Listen to your body.